Hey guys, so it's here bringing you the extra video for today, and today's extra video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a discussion, a league discussion, I guess, but it's more like a public service announcement than anything else, and we're going to be talking about placement games, because now both in the Climb to Master and A to Z series, both of those accounts have now finished placements, and whenever I finish placements every single season, there is a lot of, a little bit of saltiness, a little bit of rage, and a lot of not understanding how placements work. And as somebody that has played since season 1 and has a game design degree, I can make a pretty good educated guess on how they work. I'm not going to say this is 100% how it works. I'm not going to say this is official by Riot, because it's not. But if this is probably the best educated you're going to get from somebody that doesn't work at Riot. So let's get into it. So the first couple of things I want to point out is, firstly, your past rank in other seasons, or the last season that's just happened, is a big factor of what you're going to get in placements. So if you're looking at your favorite YouTubers and streamers are going, hey, they're all getting Platinum 1, I'll get Platinum 1, I'm going to go 10-0, and you do go 10-0 in placements, and you end up in Silver, I imagine you'll be confused. It's because your past rank does matter. You can't really get Platinum if you weren't at least Platinum last season, for example. So that is a big thing. This is called a ranked reset, but it's not a complete reset. It's more of a kind of, we'll chunk you down a little bit, and then you'll have to keep going back up. So that's the first point, is your last rank that you played matters. And for those who will say, this is my first ever season, what now? Generally, you'll get given around Silver 4 roughly rating, Silver 3, Silver 4 rating, because that's the average player in League is Silver 3, Silver 4. So yeah, you'll start at that MMR. The better you do, great. Generally, the best way you can see it is whenever I do my unranked to Diamond series, I kind of always go like 8 wins, 2 losses. I always generally end up in Gold 5. So you can get Gold from your first ever placements if you do well. Secondly, is performance in-game has no impact on placements whatsoever. It has no placements on, your actual ranked season when you're in ranked. It has no impact on how much LP you gain, how much LP you lose, and how well you do in placements. Performance means nothing. It's why I always say you don't need to get amazing kills. Sometimes just getting the victory is the most important part of the game. Your KD means nothing for climbing. So yeah, it means nothing. 100%. People could even dispute this point, and I would just call you wrong, because it literally, and I mean 100%, that is the one thing in this video that I'm like, no, that's 100%. So it means nothing. And then the final thing with placements, and again, this is hopefully what I'm going to do is not lose people here. I'm going to try and explain it the best I possibly can, but I might lose some people. So they're not going to make a completely new system for placements than they will the ranked season. That would be useless. Why would you do that? So we can safely say that placements are based on what's called MMR, matchmaking rating. And this is what can screw you over in placement games. This is how some people who, let's say, this is how this situation can happen. Both of you were Gold 3 last season. Both of you goes 5 wins, 5 losses. One person ends up in Gold 5 and one person ends up in Silver 2. How did you get different ratings? You both were in the same rating last season. You both went 5 wins, 5 losses. How are you different? This is how it can happen. So basically, what you've got to understand with MMR is that you, as an individual watching this video right now, if you play ranked, you have an individual MMR. This is the thing. It's a hidden number. Some people want us to be able to see it. It will do nothing. It doesn't matter. But this is the thing that puts you in the match with all the players with you. It also gives you your opponents. So everybody in your game will be roughly the same MMR, and that's the word, roughly. If it's a longer queue time, they expand the MMR boundaries out, and that's how randomly, like last season for me, I was a Diamond 2 player, and occasionally there'd be challenges on my team. It's because the longer the queue time, they have to expand the barriers out to make sure a game is actually going to happen. So your MMR, for argument's sake in this video, let's just do an example that it's 2,000. You have a 2,000 MMR. Now, what happens when you go into a game of League of Legends, as soon as you're in Champion Select, that MMR goes from being your individual rating to the team's rating. So what they'll do obviously, is they'll take everybody's individual MMR, they'll add them all together, and then divide by 5. They'll just find the average of everybody on your team, and then suddenly it's the team's MMR. And they'll do that for the enemy team as well. So generally, your individual MMR will get you into the game, but then as soon as you get into the game, everybody's MMR kind of gets put together. So you have the Team A's MMR versus Team B's MMR. Now, these numbers will be different. So let's say one team's average MMR is 2,000 and the other team's is 2,100, is 2,100. Who should win that game? Well, it's the team with 2,100 because they have a higher MMR than the team with 2,000. So what this means is if the team, and this is where I could lose some people, if the team with 2,000 beats the team with 2,100, these guys will gain a lot more rating because they're the underdogs. If this team over here with 2,100 beats the team with 2,000, sure, they'll still gain, but they won't gain that much because they're actually expected to win. So that's the idea. So that means in placements, even if you go 10-0, you still cannot do amazing from placements if you are always supposed to win. If suddenly in every single queue you are on the team that should win, because you'll beat them every game, but it won't give you a big climb. The best way and the most effective way that you personally can go in placements, and by the way, you cannot affect this, like there's nothing you can do, this is just how it works. If the best way that you can do it is if you go 10-0 in placements, 10 wins, 0 losses, but every single time you are in the underdog team, you'll have amazing placement games because you're not supposed to win these games, yet you're beating the team every single time. Therefore, you'll have good placement games. And again, there is nothing you can do with this. Even if you go 5 wins, 5 losses, you can get screwed over because imagine if you do 5 wins, but you're always expecting to win in those games, then okay, you gain a little bit. But if those 5 losses, you're expecting to win as well, but you lost them, you're going to lose a lot. So hopefully I didn't lose a lot of people in my explanation there. I did think about it before I started recording, and that is just the most basic way I can explain it, I think. But that's how it works. It's a bit lucky. 100% it is lucky, and I don't like to say there's luck in League of Legends, but placements are. The best way and the way you've got to think about it is just win. Win as many as you can, and that's all you can do. That's all we can do, that's it. But it's also based on, are you the underdog in the game, or are you the favourite? Do you win when you're the underdog? If so, you'll gain a lot. Do you win if you're the favourite? Well, you'll still gain, but not that much. If you lose, and here's another one, if you lose games where you're the underdog, you won't lose that much because you're supposed to lose. Your MMR, your team's MMR is lower than the enemy team's MMR, so you won't lose that much. So that's pretty much it. So yeah, hopefully you'll understand that now from a better perspective. Again, this has been what it's been for years. It hasn't changed from any of my knowledge. And again, I have multiple accounts that I do placements on. I get a fair idea every single season of how they work. And also I'm a YouTuber, so I always look at the comment section and see how people do, and kind of get more of an understanding that way. And also I have a big friend list, so I can see that too. So yeah, I've got a pretty good educated guess on how it works. Again, I just want to really say the point, performance though does not matter. I've seen several people go, performance must matter. No, it doesn't. Not at all. Then they're not going to change how ranked works just for placements. They are going to use the existing MMR system and just adapt it for placements slightly. It's not even that much of a change. By the way, this is how it works in the rank system as well. That's not different. It's how one game you can be gaining 20 LP, but then the next game you gain 15. It's how that can happen, because in the games that you're gaining 20 LP, you're gaining more rating. You may be the underdog, so you're gaining more rating for getting those victories. But you suddenly only gain 15 if you're expected to win, because they're expecting you to win. You're going to gain less. So that's pretty much it. That's how placements work. It's the best way I can explain it. I will be in the comment section a little bit if people still don't understand. But again, this is the best educated guess you're most... And again, I don't want to be cocky, but it's probably the best educated guess you're going to get that is not somebody working in Riot. Because again, I've played for 7 years and have a game design degree, so I understand. I've done matchmaking ratings. It's actually a fairly basic thing in the games industry. Call of Duty uses MMR. Every game, multiplayer game, basically uses MMR. Some show it visibly, some don't. League of Legends doesn't. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So hopefully you guys can understand it a little bit more. If you do, throw a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.